City of Stevens Point Redevelopment Authority meeting, recorded November 11, 2019.
I will call the Special Redevelopment Authority of the City of Stevens Point to order. The director will take the roll.
Schleiss.
Here.
Barrett is excused. Cooper. Gardner.
Here.
Kemeter.
Here.
Laddick. Here. We have a quorum.
I'd like to welcome Dave Laddick as a new commissioner.
Thank
Welcome
you.
aboard. Come right into the fire right away.
Jump right in.
A request from the City of Stevens Point to purchase 1116 Main Street. Director.
So as discussed at the Plan Commission, I hope you're all in attendance for that presentation. Otherwise, I would just add just one or two more things. It is within the purview of this body to accept this purchase agreement and to go through this process of acquiring the property for the purpose of redevelopment. There was a question from some of the commissioners on whether or not the city is setting a standard for acquisition of properties that are in a state that they need to be raised. And my answer is simply no. This is not setting a standard, mainly because of the cultural and historical significance of the Fox Theater to our downtown. Staff felt as though this was the right way to move forward with the acquisition and raising of the back 2/3 of the building. As mentioned earlier, there is about 5,500 square feet of developable property behind the existing third of the building. And again, you can go 2 to 3 stories. There's a lot of room back there for redevelopment. So with that, I would entertain any questions that the commission may have.
Commissioners? Any questions out here? Commissioners, what's your wishes? John?
Chairman, I'd like to make a record to show that the current property owners are basically forcing our hand and walking away from this property, so that if there's future considerations for dealing with that organization, that will be taken into account. I'd also, I'll defer for a moment to anybody to have some other comments.
No,
Commissioner Kemeter?
I was just going to move that we accept the staff recommendation to, for the city of Stevens Point to purchase the 1116 Main Street.
A second.
I would ask that you include in the motion that the city, we do that on the condition that the city commits sufficient funds to demolish the building as being proposed by staff, and that we not sign the deed until the council takes that action to appropriate said funds. And also that the condition is that all current use and ownership restrictions be voided before the commissioner, or before the chairman signs the deed.
I will so include that.
Yeah, I could address a few of those comments real quick. There is an existing donation agreement between the Sanders family, which is the former owner of the property, and the Arts Alliance of Portage County. That staff has been very clear, and it's within the, I believe, under the other conditions of the purchase agreement, letter A, wherein the seller, being the Fox on Main LLC, shall obtain a document dissolving the previously approved donation agreement dated in October 5th of 2012 between those parties. So that is included. The request to commit those funds, that could be included as part of it. It would be within the purview.
I think both would be. Mayor?
So, a couple of things. We do have a couple of representatives from the Sanders family here who have both verbally and in writing agreed to the dissolution of that agreement. The Fox on Main and Create have also voted to do so. If you want to include that, I think that's a good idea. The appropriation of funds, however, and I'm going to ask our inspection superintendent to come up here because it's an emergency raise order. It's my understanding that this wouldn't even go to council for the demolition, the funds.
Potentially, no. So it depends on how this plays out. Because of what's happening here tonight, if the city takes it over, there's no choice unless we go through public Board of Public Works for the emergency rule, it would have to go to RFP. The restrictions are very vague there, so essentially what it would be is probably a 2-week RFP at most. We don't have to take necessarily the lowest bid, especially in projects like this, because of the nuance of taking down a building in this location. We definitely have to make sure that anybody that were to submit to the RFP has the capabilities of doing this type of work, so.
So I would ask then, Mr. Chairman, that you rephrase the stipulation and say the city appropriates funds. Because in my opinion, that would cover whether it goes through a council or finance committee or something like that, or through the emergency raise order through the Board of Public Works.
The purpose of my comment was to make sure that the RDA is not paying the bill. And we know that
Right.
the bill is
Gotcha.
undefined at
Gotcha.
this point. And so I wanted to make sure it was not the owner, which is going to be the RDA, paying the bill. I want to make sure it's some entity other than the RDA.
Then I would defer to the city attorney for language suggestions.
I'll defer that to Brent, wherever he is.
Mr. Gardner's concern is that the RDA doesn't want to be on the hook for the cost of demolition. What wording might they be able to put into their motion to make that clear? I know it's putting you on the spot, and I apologize.
I would think that that'd be more along the lines of something to put in the language of an agreement between the RA and the city.
Okay.
Whereby it would state that the city would fund the demolition project.
Maybe you could say,
Comfortable then with a second motion to that effect?
I mean, I think right now the intent is pretty clear, based upon what's been said. If you just want to say, I mean, it doesn't take special fancy language to accomplish that. Just say it however you would like it to go on the record, and that should be sufficient.
maybe that the RA wouldn't be responsible for the demolition costs.
That's sufficient.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get at, yep. Plain
Alrighty,
language.
Director, would you read what we have for a motion?
I will make an honest attempt. So I've got that the city approve the request from the city of, I'm sorry, the RDA approve the request from the city of Stevens Point to purchase 1116 Main Street with conditions that the RDA is not financially responsible for the raising of the back 2/3 of the building.
And that all
Plus,
And the dissolution of that agreement.
Correct, yeah, and that probably doesn't need to be included in the motion because it's included within the purchase agreement.
I
and
prefer to
you're-
keep it in the motion.
Prefer to keep in the motion, all right. So that the RDA is not responsible for the cost to raise the back 2/3 of the building, and that the donation agreement is dissolved.
Yeah.
Correct. Is that okay with the first and second? Okay.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Director will take the roll.
Schleiss.
Aye.
Cooper is not here. Gardner.
Aye.
Kemeter.
Aye.
Laddick.
You're right. Aye.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Videos of these meetings are available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.